Being caught inside of a thunderstorm is likely among the most frightening things that you can ever experience. No matter the size of your aircraft, it will be thrown around like a rag doll, and there is precious little that we pilots can do once nature takes over. This is why we do our absolute best to never have to experience that, and that's also what makes this story so hard to understand. The 2nd of August 2005 was a nice and warm day in Paris, France. There were only some white cumulus clouds around as the captain of this story got off his train and started walking towards the massive terminal building in Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. The two pilots immediately started looking through the pre-flight briefing material and soon saw that there was a 30% chance of thunderstorms in the Toronto area later on. Because of that, they decided to take 3,000 kilos of extra fuel, which would enable them to hold for around 23 minutes if they would use Niagara Falls International Airport as their alternate, which is what their flight plan suggested. But this extra fuel also enabled them to reach several other alternates, which is a good idea when there are thunderstorms forecasted, since those storms can appear over a large area and therefore also affect several different airports. The pilots then started taxiing out toward the holding point for the active runway, and at time 11:53 UTC, that's 13:53 local time, Air France Flight 358 took off from Charles de Gaulle runway 09 left and started navigating towards its oceanic entry point for its Atlantic crossing. You see, the way these crossings are normally done is with the help of several predetermined oceanic routes, which are basically straight great circle routes spaced at regular intervals over the Atlantic. Every one of those routes have entry points, which are normally GPS-defined waypoints where the aircraft needs to appear at a given flight level and time in order to provide separation between each flight on that same route, since there is no conventional radar coverage over the ocean. Now, Flight 358 had been planned to use track Bravo with an oceanic entry level of flight level 350, and they were then planned to climb to flight level 360 at 40 degrees western longitude, and then finally to flight level 370 at 60 degrees longitude. But before the crew had reached their flight planned entry point, they were then re-cleared to use track Alpha instead. This track was located further to the north, and on top of that, they were also told to maintain flight level 350 for the entire Atlantic crossing. Now, this meant a slightly longer flight at a lower altitude, which would eat into their extra fuel, but it was still deemed to be okay after the pilots had received a new operational flight plan, confirming the fuel.